This is Optimal Finance Daily, episode 573. If you work your whole life, you're doing it wrong, by Chris Reining of chrisreining.com. And I'm Dan, your host. I am here each weekday reading to you from some of the very best personal finance blogs on the planet. Happy Wednesday to you, and thanks as always for listening in. And hey, if you didn't know, we have 4 other podcasts in our little podcast family where we do this same thing. We read blogs to you on each of those shows. They are Optimal Living Daily, Optimal Health Daily, Optimal Business Daily, and Optimal Relationships Daily. So you can subscribe to all of them to get a lot more blogs read to you for free. But for now, let's get to today's post here on Optimal Finance Daily as we optimize your life. If you work your whole life, you're doing it wrong, by Chris Reining of chrisreining.com. I thought it was normal to hide in the back of a station wagon when my dad checked into a motel. Growing up, the biggest vacation we took was to Disney World. We drove to Florida from Illinois, and to save money, he'd reserve a room with 2 double beds for 2 people. After he got the key, me and my 2 sisters would sneak into the room so the manager wouldn't see us. We'd pack a sleeping bag, and one of us would sleep on the floor. I didn't feel poor as a kid, but in my early 20s, I started realizing some people spent money way differently than I was taught. Like a buddy who'd spend $100 buying women's shots, or my coworker who got a new luxury car every couple years. I thought they were stupid, but it wasn't long before I bought a BMW, dropped $200,000 on a condo, and started a new hobby flying airplanes. I get emails all the time from people like Karen, who writes, quote, "I was going through a rough patch at work and feeling unhappy with where I found myself. More like put myself. I'm smart, I went to college, have 0 debt, have a really great, well-paying job, and sincerely felt, this is it? This can't be it. Is this really how I want to spend the next 30 years? End quote. It's easy to slip into a lifestyle where we work to earn and earn to consume. I did this, and while it's nice to have nice things, eventually more stuff doesn't really make you any happier. And when you realize this, you have a choice. Continue to live a life where you fill it with more stuff, or design a life filled with stuff that's important to you. So what can you do with your time that's important? Bronnie Ware spent years talking with people about to die. They all wished the same thing, that they had been happier, stayed in touch with friends, expressed their feelings, and hadn't worked so much. Number 1 was, I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expect of me. What they're saying is to live your life filled with stuff that's important to you. Okay, but how do you figure this out? Ryan Holiday is one of my favorite people, and his article on deciding your why helped me build a framework around this. I started asking myself what's important to me, and at first I came up with lame stuff like freedom and flexibility. But I dug deeper, and freedom became time, and time turned into the question, what would I do with it? And that forced the answer, work on what I'm passionate about and not be motivated by money. Have enriching experiences through travel. Challenge myself and continue to grow. And have an impact on the greatest amount of people. Now, when I'm faced with a decision about a direction to take my life or what goals I should set, this is the list I pull out to guide me. And the result is a life that's optimized for meaning and significance. You can design your life to make sure you have the freedom to pursue what's important to you. The caveat is every one of these options requires a mindset shift. You need to work to earn to save, and save to invest so you can stop working. Many of you already do fulfilling work as teachers, social workers, or at nonprofits. The pay sucks, so you know you'll never be a millionaire, but you still want a taste of freedom. A mini retirement, a term popularized by Tim Ferriss in the 4-Hour Workweek, is perfect for you. Tim wrote, quote, "It is the anti-vacation in the most positive sense. Though it can be relaxing, the mini retirement is not an escape from your life, but a re-examination of it, the creation of a blank slate. This is also different from a sabbatical. Sabbaticals are often viewed much like retirement, as a one-time event. Savor it now while you can. The mini retirement is defined as recurring. It is a lifestyle." End quote. I love this idea, and the execution is simple. You save up 1 to 12 months of spending money and then go live your life. Travel through Southeast Asia, work on what's important to you, or hike the Pacific Crest Trail. Most people work into their 60s for the conventional idea of a 30-year retirement. This includes plenty of TV, mall walking, and watching squirrels or something. The risk is a lot can go wrong between now and when you're 65, like you could die, And did you ever have the time to do what's important to you while you still could? Money-wise, the conventional 30-year retirement uses what's called a withdrawal rate of 4%. This means you can withdraw 4% from your savings and investments every year for 30 years with little risk of running out of money. To figure out how much money you need for this, take your annual spend and multiply it by 25. As an example, if you spend $30,000, you need $750,000, 30,000 times 25. Or if you spend $80,000, you need $2 million, 80,000 times 25. Early retirement. Early retirement is the definition of wealth because you don't have to work to finance what's important to you. You can use the same calculation for a 30-year retirement, annual spend multiplied by 25, because you'll probably earn money at some point either from hobbies or part-time work. But if you truly want to retire early, like for 45 years and beyond, you use a withdrawal rate of 3.5%. To calculate how much you need for this, take your annual spend and multiply it by 28.5. Example, if you spend $35,000, you need $1 million, 35,000 times 28.5. Or if you spend $70,000, you need $2 million, 70,000 times 28.5. My challenge to you. Like other .com millionaires, Elon Musk falls into the early retirement category. He could get drunk every night and spend his time traveling between his properties, but that isn't what's important to him. Quote, I'm interested in things that change the world or that affect the future and wondrous new technology where you see it and you're like, wow, how did that even happen? How is that possible? End quote. What's important to him is solving big problems like space travel and multiplanetary living, so that's what he's doing. If you ask yourself what's important to you and have a vague answer like, I want to be happy and have a nice family and be rich, well, that doesn't really mean anything. Get a sheet of paper and start writing down how you want to live. Then figure out the money part. Because when you do it this way and you're at the end of your life about to die, you'll be able to say, I'm glad I did that, instead of, I wish I had. You just listened to the post titled, If You Work Your Whole Life, You're Doing It Wrong, by Chris Reining of chrisreining.com. And again, if you're interested in hearing more blogs being narrated to you for free, please check out our other 4 shows, which are Optimal Living Daily, Optimal Health Daily, Optimal Business Daily, and Optimal Relationships Daily. You can search for the word optimal in the podcast app of your choice, and all 5 of our shows should pop right up for you. And that's going to do it for today. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here in tomorrow's show, where your optimal life awaits.
Hello, Life Optimizer. This is Justin Malik, creator and producer of this podcast, but also Optimal Living Daily, the show where I read to you from even more blogs covering finance, productivity, minimalism, personal development, and more from incredible bloggers like Derek Sivers, Zen Habits, Mark and Angel, The Minimalists, and all the ones you hear on this show too. So if you enjoyed today's episode and like taking amazing blogs on the go, come on over to Optimal Living Daily and subscribe to that one too. And together, we'll start optimizing your life.
You've been listening to Optimal Finance Daily. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on each new episode and head to oldpodcast.com. That's OLDpodcast.com for a free gift as well as more actionable tips and resources to help you maximize your potential. Thanks for joining us, and remember, your optimal life awaits.